You know, the key to curing one of the world's most devastating diseases? It might not be hiding in a test tube. It might actually be hidden on a server. Today, we're going to dive into the data revolution that is totally transforming the fight against ALS. We're going to see how unlocking information is, well, unlocking hope.
Just think about this for a second. What if the cure for ALS wasn't some undiscovered molecule we have yet to find? What if it's a pattern that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, just scattered across thousands of disconnected computer files?
For decades, that's exactly where these vital clues were, trapped, locked away on isolated lab servers, stored in all sorts of incompatible formats, and yeah, completely invisible to the global scientific community. But that is finally starting to change.
So, what was holding everything back for so long? Well, for decades, ALS research had this massive bottleneck. And the problem wasn't a lack of data. Believe me, there was tons of it. It was a complete breakdown in how that data flowed, or rather how it didn't flow.
Okay, so picture the old way of doing things. Individual labs would collect just incredible amounts of data, but it stayed right there, locked on their local servers. And what that meant was that researchers all over the world were unknowingly repeating the exact same failed experiments. What a massive drain on time, on money, on resources. The new way, it flips that script entirely. It's built on a really simple but powerful idea. Share everything, build on each other's work, and accelerate the whole field forward together.
So, how do you actually break down these digital walls? Well, you build a kind of universal key. And in this case, it's not a single key, but a powerful new kind of research engine, one that's designed to unlock all of this trapped information.
It's called a data accelerator. Now, the goal is simple in concept, but honestly, it's revolutionary in practice. The idea is to gather all of that siloed data, standardize it so it all speaks the same language, and then make it freely available to any scientist anywhere in the world. It's all about transforming this chaotic sea of disconnected data points into a single, powerful, searchable resource for discovery.
Now, this is not the work of just one organization. No way. This is a global effort, and it's being driven by several major initiatives. So let's walk through the 5 key players who are really leading this data revolution.
First up, we've got AMP-ALS. This thing is a true powerhouse collaboration. I mean, imagine getting the National Institutes of Health, top universities, major drug companies, and the leading nonprofits all rowing in the same direction. Yep, that's AMP-ALS.
Their whole mission is to collect and analyze thousands upon thousands of biological samples. We're talking blood, tissue, spinal fluid. They then take all of that deep molecular data and funnel it into their open access knowledge portal. This thing is essentially a super powerful search engine for the biology of ALS that anyone can use.
Next, let's talk about Answer-ALS. This is one of the largest and most comprehensive data generation projects ever undertaken in the history of this disease. Their approach is incredibly deep. So they start by sequencing a patient's entire genome. Then, and this is amazing, they take that same patient's cells and create a stem cell model. They literally create a version of that person's disease that can be studied in a lab dish. And finally, they merge all that genetic and cellular data with the patient's clinical records. What you get is a complete, multidimensional portrait of ALS in that one individual. Just incredible.
All right, next up is the Target ALS data engine. Now, while some of the other players are focused on massive scale, Target ALS is all about one thing: speed and getting data directly into the hands of drug developers.
What really sets them apart is their speed. They release brand new datasets every 4 to 6 months. I mean, that is an absolutely unheard of pace in scientific research. And the impact is huge. Over 80 industry groups are actively using this data right now to hunt for new drug targets. It's turning open source information directly into potential therapies. Okay, now let's go global with Project Mini. This initiative brings together researchers from all over the world with one primary mission: to map the complete genetic landscape of ALS. The scale here is just immense. By pooling their resources from more than a dozen countries, Project Mine can analyze the genomes of tens of thousands of people. And to do that, you need massive high-performance computing power to sift through billions and billions of DNA base pairs, all to hunt for those sneaky genetic patterns that contribute to the disease.
And our 5th key player is the ALS Therapy Development Institute, or ALS-TDI. They contribute to this whole ecosystem by generating crucial preclinical data from their own lab-based research. You can think of ALS-TDI as being on the front lines,
They're testing potential therapies in lab models of the disease. This work generates incredibly detailed data on how different drugs affect disease progression, and by sharing those findings, they help the entire research community understand which potential treatments are promising and which ones are worth pursuing further. So, okay, we've got these 5 incredible engines all working to generate and share data. But what's the actual tangible result of all this collaboration? I mean, why does this matter so much?
Well, this collaboration kicks off a really powerful chain reaction. It starts by eliminating all that duplicated effort, which immediately frees up resources. That, in turn, allows for these massive, combined analyses that can spot subtle patterns no single lab could ever hope to find on its own. And those patterns, they lead directly to new drug targets and better biomarkers to track whether those new drugs are actually working. You see, each step feeds and accelerates the next one.
Ultimately, what these data accelerators are doing is laying the absolutely essential groundwork for the next generation of breakthroughs. They're building the very foundation upon which all future discoveries are going to be made.
Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. These platforms, they aren't just databases. They've become the informational backbone of the entire ALS research world. They're supporting and connecting every single effort out there to find a cure.
By breaking down these silos and finally connecting scientists across the globe, the fight against ALS has entered a brand new era, an era of open, collaborative, and accelerated science. And it leaves us with a really hopeful and exciting question. Now that the world's data is finally being connected, what incredible discoveries are lying just around the corner?